So that's something, if you're considering making a trip to an interesting place, then get in touch with us about this, particularly if it's well known for perhaps having a very interesting building. We've also got a Ketso kit, which is like a fuzzy felt set of materials for running effective discussions, which we used at the last SPIRES workshop. Just quite an interesting thing if you want to run a workshop. And we've got some video cameras, so if you were making a trip, you can follow those as well. And for all of these things, you would apply initially to Morag, who would tell you what was available. Now, another thing that we're trying to do to get people involved in the network is we have the SPIRES website, which is spires.info. If you haven't already signed up, then please do that. Every SPIRES member has a little area where they can have a blog and so on. It works as a social network as well, so you can make friends with researchers who've got like interests. So we're trying to get people involved in that and becoming part of a community, because a lot of what SPIRES is about is building a community of researchers with similar interests.
I tried yesterday, by the way, and it's disabled. You can't sign up.
Oh, okay. Maybe you could look into that.
To sign up, you just send me
an
email. You should have had an account already, and if you haven't, I will create you one.
Right, okay.
Great. Okay, thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so we're experimenting with Twitter as well, so if you want to follow us, that's us. Now, I started a couple of weeks ago some hashtags for the event, and I'm the only lonely person tweeting on them, so please talk to me. The hashtags are #ResearchSpaces from hell and Research Spaces from heaven. So if you use Twitter and you've got Wi-Fi here, then feel free to tweet some of your favourite or least favourite research spaces, and we'll use those as input into the discussion that we have later. If you're not a Twitter person, then just let it wash past you. It doesn't really matter that much. It's just kind of, I guess, a back channel for communication. And computer scientists like these things because we're not very social people. Rather than talking, we tweet to each other. Computer scientists start growling. Okay, and one of the other things we're doing, mostly because it's fun, is we're writing an episodic multi-author story as a blog. So there's 4 authors who are all SPIRES members and whose identities will be kept secret. It's one of the things to do is encourage people to come and visit the website regularly, because we have an episode probably about once a week. And it's kind of a satire in university life, but sometimes the authors do discuss issues which are of relevance to researchers or research spaces. And it's set in Granite University, which is an entirely fictitious Scottish university. It's not in Aberdeen, although you might expect so because of me. And it's within the applied metamagical department of this university. And they have all kinds of turf wars with neuroscientists and psychologists and so on. Now there's various characters that you'll meet should you choose to look at the story. One is the dreadful Professor Jenkins, who is kind of the very worst possible of professors and has all kinds of terrible interpersonal habits. And one of his more junior colleagues, Dr. Hawkins, who has to pick up a lot of flack. And then there's a cleaner who has some kind of sinister agenda, which we're not entirely sure about yet. So that's loads of fun. And what we're really hoping for is that readers will post comments and give us the author's ideas for what should happen next in the storyline. So please do join in with that. It's kind of an interesting experiment to see how interactive narratives could work in this way. I guess it's kind of a cross between Alexander McCall Smith and David Lodge. If you read Alexander McCall Smith's serialisation in the Telegraph or the Scotsman, it's kind of along that idea. Yes, so please do join that and leave a comment. So for today, the questions which we wanted to get answered by the community, yourselves here today, partly based on people's own favourite research spaces. We want to think about what factors have been designed into research spaces, to promote effective research. But also how effective has that design proved to be. Sometimes buildings are designed in a particular way, but people use them in a way which is different from that. And a question that comes across in most of the SPIRES strands is how can you measure the effectiveness of a research space? And in the previous workshop we started answering this to some extent. Whether the effectiveness of research is merely about publications or ref standing or impact factors, or whether there's something more to it in terms of the researcher's personal satisfaction and so on. So perhaps you could be thinking about that today as well. And then something from just talking to people about what their favourite research spaces are. Quite a lot of people are telling me that they often get their most productive research done in spaces which were never designed to be for research, like Starbucks, or their local library, or their sofa, or places like that. So that's an interesting thing to look at as well. So these are the sorts of questions we're interested in answering. I know that there are people with particular expertise in design and architecture, so if there's better questions to be answered today, then please suggest them, because it's obviously not our area, and these are just questions which occur to us. So what we're aiming for today is we're going to have several talks with discussions led by the speakers. So we're going to start with James and Mel, who are going to be telling us about a project they've been doing in Dundee. And then after that we're going to have a breakout discussion to talk about people's favourite and less favourite research spaces. Following that we'll have lunch, and the steering committee will meet in the boardroom. Then Alan's going to talk to us after lunch about innovation, space and technology, so that's a crossover between two of the SPIRES themes there. Kirsten's going to be talking to us in the afternoon about space and communication networks. And then Kinda will be talking to us at 3. Is Kinda here?
No, not yet.
Okay. So yes, I guess that may change. Right, so that's the agenda for today. Has anyone got any questions about that, or Morag, is there anything you'd like to add?
If anybody's got anything that they want to raise at the steering committee meeting, let me know before lunchtime. If you've got questions, things you'd like discussed, let me know. Great, we'll add it to the agenda.
Okay, and I guess just to fill you in briefly about the next workshop, will be on virtual spaces, which George is going to host at City. Mid-September, we think, though I don't think we've agreed on a date yet.
I think Judy's still doodling with it, so I'm sure we'll sort that out.
Yes. But if you've got any suggestions for topics or speakers that you think would be really good, then please let us know for that. You can help us plan over the summer. So I think that's all I want to say, apart from to say that I'm just really excited to be talking to people with so many different interests here, and I don't know much about architecture or design of spaces, but I'm just really interested to find out, so thank you all for coming. And Mel, I believe you're up next. Want to switch over?
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to say that the fire exit is the main door that you came in there. The toilets are upstairs to the right, and then up a set of silver stairs. Does anybody in the who works in this building want to give more coherent directions?
Yes, I'm Kemal Karimi, Director of Space and Text Limited. What would you like to know?
Just more coherent directions for getting to the toilets.
Toilets. Right, then right again. Middle of the studio, there is a left. You go left, and then there are some stairs. You go up, and toilets are there. So right again, and then left,